I can't even say the title of it.
What
it's
is
just,
it? What is it?
I believe it was "Wish I Was Your Lover." That's a tough
Janet Jackson
tough
you're
title.
talking about.
No, man, that's Sophie B. Hawkins.
Sophie. Oh,
dude, that song. I used to love that song. Everybody loved that song, and no one had any idea what the hell that she was singing about, right? And basically,
she's like a lesbian or something, right?
She's a lesbian who was singing about some lady that she likes, apparently. Yeah. But aside from that, that song has one of the best bridges. It might have the best bridge, for some reason, of any song that I can think of right now.
Oh my goodness.
God bless you.
Thank you. Wait, I think I... Oh!
You know, I never really listened. I never really listened to the words.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't care, and also my word recognition.
Yeah, same.
So I would just listen. I would basically listen to a song.
Yeah.
And kind of just enjoy the atmosphere of it. Like just the vibe that was given, and make up my own. Yeah. Like whatever she was saying.
Same, yeah.
I made it up.
Yeah. Damn, I wish I was your lover. I'll rock you till daylight comes. Make sure you're smiling and warm. I am everything tonight. I'll be your mother. I'll do such things to ease your pain, free your mind, and you won't feel ashamed.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Stuff like that. I kind of like skirted over. Like my mind automatically just kind of like clouded it out. Weird stuff. I wish I was your mother. What the hell are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Lloyd would have a field day.
Yeah.
He's like, did he say mother?
Yeah. Huh.
Tell me about your mother.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Damn! I love it. There we go. Damn!
That was like before music went to shit. Remember we were talking about the frequency?
Yeah.
What was it? The hertz?
The hertz, yeah. The megahertz. 432.
That was still on. I think that was still the correct. That was still 432.
The thing is, they changed a lot of this. Here's the thing: a lot of the stuff was actually the 440 hertz already, but I think it was just the the production and I think it was the target audience changed. Sometime around the late 90s, you started getting the whole. I mean, granted, we had that before. Where there were bands who were targeting teenagers and all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't like a thing. And the bands actually that were targeting teenagers, like in the 50s, 60s, were actually, people thought they were corny. Stuff that was like one-hit wonders or whatever it was. Like the Beatles were the only ones that kind of like stuck around because they managed to drag that stuff into like what we know is like Led Zeppelin style or classic rock, all like they basically set the trend. For what you heard in like the early 70s already, which was not for kids. It was already for like that generation already became young adults, and that's where they stayed. The music kind of went with them,
Yeah.
Like the kiddie bands died, and then I guess like in the late 90s, the guy's like, wait a minute, it's not dead. We're gonna resurrect it, and it's gonna stay that way. All the music is gonna stay for kids, which is very stupid.
Yeah, I mean, no,
it's a cash cow, but it's really stupid.
No, I mean, there was a very, very, very sharp delineation.
Yeah.
Can I say?
Yeah.
I noticed just because I happened to leave the country.
Yeah.
In 1999, and I came back in 2000.
Yeah.
Okay. So this song was like that we just listened to. That was like early 90s.
Yeah.
And then things still seemed to kind of. I didn't notice it, but when I got back.
Yeah. It was terrible.
Dude, what? It really, it can't be. It couldn't be just because I left and came back a year later. It can't be it.
I mean, like I noticed it, but at the same time, it didn't make me hush up. It didn't impact me so much because you know why? Because 99, 2000, 2001, I already started getting into everything. I mean, before that even the underground stuff. So I just went right from like mainstream into the underground stuff, and I didn't really care about
maybe
mainstream
you
music.
didn't notice it because that's when everything really switched to crap.
Yeah, I just didn't even pay attention because I was just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go I'm going to my stuff, whatever I want. I don't really care about what they're doing.
Like I came back and we had like Spice Girls, and we had dude, the Spice Girls, Britney Spears.
It was bad. It was bad.
Christina Aguilera. People like Backstreet Boys. Which, by the way, compared to what's up right now,
I know.
Like Christina Aguilera is like Bach.
Yeah.
Compared to.
Yeah. Of course, it's actually still like remotely sounds like music because she has a good voice. Also, she has she's a very talented person. But
well, I wasn't gonna go there. You
no,
totally
she actually has a good voice. Like she does.
You ruined my joke.
No, I listen.
Chronic joke ruiner.
I agree with you. But
hell, man.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, man. Listen, I don't know. I went into my own little world. I started going to Twilo and all that kind of stuff. And after that, it was like Cielo.
I think we needed to take refuge in that, dude. When I got back from Israel, that's when I kind of met like Greg, and that crew, right?
Yeah.
Like they were telling me about like progressive house. Like I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't understand genres. Like I just listened to music that I liked, and these guys got me into the world of tribal, music. Musical tribalism,
dude. For me, that was a
Listen.
It was a ritual for me.
I don't mean tribal music. I mean progressive house against people who like the trance.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it depends on which. That's I was gonna say. Like with the last 10 years, everything got ruined when something that was underground started going above ground. Thanks to a VC and whatever, and the internet.
A VC? What is that?
Whatever. The guy, he passed away because he was going to expose. He was a DJ producer in his 20s. This is recently. He passed away last year because there's a theory that they killed him because he was going to expose pedophilia.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, but he was he was one of the first DJ producers to make, tens of millions of dollars. Because already that's it. Like the stuff went from underground to above ground, and
what never made it above ground. And I guess it sucks for the people involved in it, but I guess it's good. The genre is drum and bass.
Yeah, some of it did, but very few. Who went above ground? Really? What's his name? Goldie, the actor. He became. He's a drum and bass DJ, but he became an actor also.
I never heard of him.
He played in what is it called? He played in Snatch.
Oh, you're talking about the black dude who looks very, very light skinned, and he has like blonde hair.
He looks like he looked like he could be Mike Tyson's cousin or something like that.
Yeah, he was the bad boy Yardie, right?
Yeah, Clifford Joseph Price, better known as Goldie.
Right. What was the name of the fat guy in Snatch? The fat black dude.
Yeah.
Was it Jamal?
It was either. What you meant, the character's name or the guy in real life?
No, like the character's name. Like.
Give me a second.
He's like the nicest one. He didn't belong there.
He played. Forrest the Blade. Bad Boy Lincoln. I'm trying to find this. What the heck? Dennis Farina. Del Toro. Benicio del Toro was in this movie. My God.
Yeah.
Dude, you know who Vinny Jones, the bullet? You know who? The guy who played Bullet Tooth Tony. The guy who was like.
Yeah, Vinny Jones.
Vinny Jones. You know who? Do you know what Vinny Jones did for a living before that?
Yeah, he was a soccer player.
Dude, he was the dirtiest. He was He played in the Premier League, and like the top league in England. He played from Wimbledon, the city. He was the dirtiest player. If you can go watch highlights of him, how he like fouls people. Crazy.
No, I know he was famous. Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, I found it. Okay. The guy's name was Tyrone.
Tyrone.
Yeah. Remember that? Yeah. There's one scene when they were looking at the video of the robbery.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, Tyrone." You silly fat bastard.
Yeah, because they're like putting him in the what's it called?
Yeah, they're trying to identify someone. They're like, you know these tits?
Yeah.
You're like, who's that tit? I don't know. Like, oh, Tyrone. You silly fat bastard.
Oh. As greedy as a pig. Yes. Turkish. You know what they say about pigs. You know who played him?
That you mean what's his name? Bricktop?
No, played this Tyrone guy.
Yeah.
His name is Ade.
Ade.
Yeah.
Addy.
He went from selling tickets at concerts, managing bands, to publishing an international horse racing magazine. Yeah. He then set off on the European press jaunt and traveled to the United States to preview the movie, addressing the audience at Harry Knowles' 24-hour film festival at the Alamo, Texas.
Oh, I was looking for Doug the Head, Mike Reed. Hello, Abby.
Doug the Head is a hello, Turkish. Doug the Head.
Abby.
Hello,
Abby. Avi was funny. Dennis Farina, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love that guy.
He's like, you have anything to declare? He's like, yeah, don't go to England.
Yeah. He goes, Rosie, don't worry, we'll get you a nice Jewish doctor. Find life for a nice Jewish doctor.
I love it. I love how that's when they still had the Concorde jet.
Yeah.
So he gets on the Concorde jet, he has like a shot, and he passes out, and he wakes up like whatever 3 hours later or something like that.
I'm coming to London. You hear me, Doug? I'm coming to London.
Yeah. It's funny.
Hello.
I can't believe look at this cast, man, of this movie.
Yo, Boris the Butcher, one of my favorite character actors.
Look at this cast though. What is it called? Benicio del Toro, Dennis Farina. Let's see. Let's go down the what's it? Okay, Vinnie Jones, whatever. Brad Pitt. He plays the what is it? The pikey guy. Jason Statham, that's like maybe his first like kind of main role. I mean, besides Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which was basically essentially the same movie. Dude, I don't know. They put like some crazy people in this.
Dude, what happened now?
What?
I'm looking for Tommy. Remember Tommy? He goes, come on, Tommy.
Oh, Tommy.
Germans.
Come on, Tommy.
You got the minerals.
Yeah, Stephen Graham.
He seemed out of place in that movie. I didn't get his role. He was just a friend.
Yeah, he's just like this annoying whatever.
No, he was funny. He added something to it.
Yeah. I think
Rade Serbedgia.
Oh, that was
in every movie.
Yeah, he played in the guy who played the Boris. What's it called? He played in Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes, gentlemen. Do you not see that she is deranged?
You little whore.
Yeah, no, that part.
You deranged creature.
That was surprisingly evolved.
Amazing.
He was way more enlightened.
I know.
His reaction than you would have expected.
You little whore. What the hell? I was like, okay.
Those two Japanese guys are like, she invited us over.
Can I tell you something, man? Can I tell you something? I want to tell you a crazy story regarding. Okay, I want to tell you a crazy story, and then I'll tell you the end of it. I'm with my parents. This is like right when I got back from Israel, 2015. I'm with my parents in the city, and we decide to go to Wolf and Lamb, the steakhouse, the one in the city. So we get there, and we're kind of waiting online, whatever it is. And it was Sukkot, right? So they had the sukkot outside, you can eat outside on the side, whatever. And there's a guy there, he looks visibly Jewish, and he's waiting for a table, and then he goes, listen guys, like maybe we can get a table can I sit with you guys in the sukkah? He looks like he's just kind of like, he doesn't have a kippah, but he's kind of, like one of these guys, like, looks like he lives in the city, kind of, nice fashion sense, but just kind of like doesn't really care. One of these like chilled out guys, Yep. He looks like he just like slapped on some like, all kinds of designer clothing, but just got out of bed, and just had like whatever doesn't really
Trust
care.
fund baby.
Yeah, like a trust fund baby, like around the corner or whatever it is. So he sits with us, and I'm talking to the guy. We're talking about like he telling me about his, because he sees I have a kippah at that time, and he's like he sees, he's telling me about his Chabad rabbi, how he goes to Crown Heights and this and that and the other. This is before I moved to Crown Heights. We're talking, and then the guy gives me his number. He gives me his number. His name is Adam Kimmel. I look up this Adam Kimmel guy, and I see pictures of him with P. Diddy, Fashion Week, pictures with him and all kinds of people. Jay-Z, P. Diddy, da 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 da. Crazy. I look him up. He's like the son of like this billionaire Jew, Kimmel something, who like donated a ton of money to like NYU, Kimmel Center, whatever it is. I had a whole discussion with this guy, about like I had a whole discussion with this guy. I was talking to him about like dating, and he goes, "Oh, you married? You have a girlfriend?" I was like, "No, whatever. Just had a broken engagement, this and that and the other." And he's like, did she wear? And he's asking me if she wore like covered her hair. I was like, yeah, she. He's like, yeah, mine doesn't cover or covers her hair. And he's like, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even ask him if she's Jewish, his wife, right? I assumed, because he's telling me all these things, So then I look him up and I see these pictures, and then I see it says
Korean, right?
What?
She's Korean, right?
No, I see he's married to, guess who? Lily Sobieski.
Lily Sobieski. Lily Sobieski is Jewish?
No, she's not. She's a Polish aristocracy.
Sobieski sounds pretty Polish.
She's Polish, but she's not Jewish. And then I text the guy, and then I go to him, and I didn't even, it's like a brain fart. I texted him and I go, "Hey man, awesome meeting you. We should meet up sometime." I was like chutzpah. I was like, "We should meet up sometime." By the way, and I wrote to him, "By the way, I loved your wife in Eyes Wide Shut."
Oh shit.
Needless to say, he did not respond to me.
Did he respond?
No.
Obviously. I
wasn't trying to be a dick. I was like, it was a great move. I was like,
that was you weren't trying to be a prick. That was like,
no. I was just like, I was being a total boob, like just like a total loch, as we say in Russian.
Greg, you silly thought bastard. No, but I would. Why am I? I'm not criticizing you, because I would say, if I'd ever see him like walking around with her, I'd be like, "Sir, can you not see that she is deranged?"
Oh man, yeah. See here. Lilian Rudabet Gloria Elsveta Lili Sobieski. Blah blah blah. Here. Okay, born in New York City. Her mother, Elizabeth Sobieski, near niece Salomon. What?
No.
Her maternal grandmother was of Ashkenazi Jewish, but in Dutch descent. Yeah, but the question is her by the father probably. Pan-religious family.
Her maternal grandmother. Did you say maternal
grandmother? Oh no, so then so then that's it. So she, but it says of Ashkenazi Jewish and Dutch descent. So maybe the father of the grandmother was Jewish. I don't know, who the hell knows, but I don't know.
Whatever, man. Doesn't matter. It's none of my business.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, no, but I was just that. Yeah, so that basically that that ended that discussion.
As long as Klaus Schwab isn't Jewish, I don't think I can handle that.
Yeah.
I don't think.
So check this out. So basically, the father of this guy, of this Kimmel guy, the father is Martin Kimmel, real estate developer and philanthropist, founded Kimco Realty, the largest builder of strip malls in the United States.
Hopefully not Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel.
No. Jimmy Kimmel's not even Jewish, by the way. And the grandfather is this guy Donald Aronoff, whatever, designer, builder, and racer of famous Magnum Marine Donzi Formula speedboats. He built speedboats for the Shah of Iran, Charles Keating, Robert Vesco, Malcolm Forbes, and George H.W. Bush. So basically, retired President LBJ owned 17-foot Donzi speedboats. So basically, his grandfather built speedboats for like freaking. Oh wow, he was killed. He was murdered. His speedboats were popular among cocaine smugglers. He was murdered in North Miami Beach by.
Holy shit.
By like freaking mafia guys or by someone. That's his grandfather. This is Kimmel's grandfather. Wow, I didn't even research this. This is crazy.
Dude, you know what I saw? I think like a lot of people might have seen this. There was a famous shootout in very close to where I live in Miami. It was a famous like FBI shootout. It was like in 1986, and they did a whole remake of it, and it's like realistic as hell. Like you got to see this. Just on your own time. Like check out the 1986 FBI shootout in Miami. It's nuts. That happened just a couple of it's like world famous.
I'm gonna check that out. But dude, like they made a documentary about this guy, his grandfather, Thunderman, the Don Aronoff story. How he made like speedboats and then how they killed him for speedboats for like famous people and then he was wow. Dude, he kind of looks like his grandfather. Holy crap. This guy. What was his name? Adam, maybe? Whatever. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I wish him the best. He seemed, genuinely involved and interested in Torah and spirituality. So let that continue. Hopefully, it did.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm looking at you uploaded the video. I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened to you, man. That's what happened to you last night. You got murdered by Freddy Krueger, and then you came back. I resurrected you.
I didn't get a lot of sleep Moshe Shabbos. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I've knocked out last night at like 9 o'clock. Yeah, there's some pictures of them. They're like these events. They look very intense together. They look like I don't know what's really.
Who are we talking about?
This Kimmel guy and Soviet and the deranged creature. Dude, I'm such a schmuck. I was just like, yeah, man. Look, I thought it'd be like a conversation piece, like and he would have said, yeah, not the most serious, whatever it is, like just whatever, I'm not judgmental. Like if I'm mentioning that, obviously I'm not judgmental, and obviously I'm not a creep, or maybe I sound like one. What do you think?
It sounded a little creepy. I mean, I know you didn't mean it that way.
Obviously not.
Yeah, I liked your wife and this. It's not really your fault. Like, what? Why did she get naked and go on camera?
Yeah.
They kind of put it out there, but still, it's like.
It can be interpreted, especially if you're like whatever, in the celeb circles, it can be interpreted one of many ways. And I guess he may have interpreted it as creepy.
Yeah, I wouldn't have appreciated it.
Because he meets a lot of creeps, probably. And I was one of them that day.
Yeah, not on purpose.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Let's reiterate. If you were a creep, I wouldn't talk to you.
What a faux pas. Yes, you would. What a faux pas.
Yeah, you probably would. Whatever.
Every time I think back on that, I'm just like, my God, this dude, like, you gotta think.
You know who said he's a creep?
Who?
There's a famous routine, Patrice O'Neal.
Mm.
He's like, man, when I was like young, I go after the girls, and I just keep doing that. But now that I'm old, he goes, I don't go after the girls. I just stare at them. You know what I mean? I don't want to go after them. I just want to stare at them, right?
Yeah.
He goes, when sometimes I'm driving like next to like NYU or something like that, or like some high school or something like that. He goes, I was just, my jaw drops. He goes, I need one of those, one of those cones that they put on dogs so I don't lick myself.
That's hilarious. Oh yeah, I think I saw that part.
And then he's like, I'm a creep.
That's so funny, man.
It's like, so you just want to stare at chicks when you're 40. So I can't, I thought, I'm 40 now and I don't really subscribe to that too much.
Yeah.
No more than I ever did, I think I did. Remember I told you when I was like 8 and that lady was coming out of the water? I think that was like the longest I ever stared at
a lady. Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, she shattered my vessel,
Yeah. That's very funny.
How dare she?
That's very funny. So apparently Gal Gadot came out with a new movie.
No, I don't want to hear it.
On Netflix with.
I don't want to hear about it.
It's called Red Notice. What is this about?
Don't want to know. Don't speak to me about like these I wish her well.
It's not about anything meaningful, this movie. It doesn't seem like. But there is actually a movie on Netflix now about Turkish Jews, which apparently I heard is meaningful. So I want to check that out. I don't know. I just don't like giving Netflix my cash.
Dude, people shouldn't watch movies.
I know.
They shouldn't, because movies became a replacement for reading.
Yeah,
and for doing. Now everybody learns their fake history from movies.
Yeah.
You know, like no, you want to learn about Malcolm X? Watch, the Denzel Washington movie.
Yeah.
No, don't watch that shit.
Plymouth Rock landed on us. And thank you for the Oscar.
Yeah, like you want to watch about Vietnam, don't watch Platoon. Like you're watching the perspective of socialist operatives.
Yeah.
That's it. You're just watching propaganda from political operatives. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't watch movies. Boycott movies. Shut the TV off.
It's called agitprop or psyop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think of my psyop, or not a psyop, my agitprop or anti-agitprop strategy on Twitter? I respond to the person just so that other people who are reading can see my response and get like his and or information. And after I do that, I mute them so that I don't have to get into actual discussion with them.
I used to do that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That is a good idea.
Because usually their response amounts to something like it sounds like a Chinese agent is sitting behind the screen just repeating party lines.
Yeah. No, that is a good idea, but I should correct myself. I never actually did that. I would argue with people on Discuss.
Mm-hmm.
That's
retarded. Yeah, that's the most retarded place.
Yeah, but I mean that's where every article. If you ever want to comment on an article, that's what you had.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd have like month-long wars with people, and this went on for years at a time.
Oh my god!
And I never backed down. I
avoid that.
I never backed down, like ever, because like no one was, it felt like me and like one other guy or two other guys defending the Jews against all these demons.
Yeah. It's like the YouTube comment section, It's just the worst. The worst.
Do you know what my name was? Ray Schluckish.
I think I saw that. Yeah, that was your name on Facebook in the beginning.
Yeah.
Why did you use that name in the beginning?
I don't know why. I was always drawn to Ray Schluckish.
It was Ray Schluckish, but then you actually did have like your picture, so I knew it was you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't remember the last time I actually used my own picture on Facebook.
I see your wife does, so that's why
Yeah, she doesn't.
I want to make sure that it was actually you. That was your profile. So I went to your wife's thing and I saw you. I was like, okay, this checks out. Everything's okay. It's all good. It's all good. It's really him.
I like Ray Schluckish. I don't know why. He was a very interesting character.
I mean, he did tshuva, and he became like a huge rabbi.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, he basically lived it up. Whatever he did, he did it. He went full force, Yeah. So it's like, I want to be like that. I'm not like that. I want to be like that.
Wait, there are pictures of you just in the past on your page.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the profile picture.
Yeah. There's a picture of it's you. What's his face? The Alexes.
The Alexes, yeah.
Oh my God, you have an Armani Exchange shirt.
We went to see. This is years ago. I think this is just when I got back.
This is '99. This is October.
Yeah. So listen. In 2000, 2001, we went to see. No, this is 2000. Went to the Comedy Cellar, right? And it was me and the Alexes, right?
We probably met each other. We just didn't even know, because I was going to the Comedy Cellar at the same time.
Yeah, no, I love the Cellar, but so Dave Chappelle. So it was like, who was a line, dude? What a night, man! That was where I met Patrice O'Neal.
Oh, yeah?
I never heard him before that.
Yeah.
He was the funniest. Holy crap! This guy was out of control. He was out of control. He was awesome, but it was him, some black dude that I don't know, but he was funny. he was just his whole routine was making fun of like rock kids,
Mm-hmm.
you know. He's like, "Come on, guys," and he was like doing like he was making fun of like you know, like guys who like Green Day, you know, that crew, and he actually did a good job. I don't remember his name, and Dave Attell.
Yeah, Dave Attell was. Listen, you know, my favorite bit of Dave Attell is.
You got to hear this lineup, dude. Hold on, Dave Attell, Mark Maron.
Yeah,
I heckled Mark Maron, but I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a heckler was at that time. I wasn't like down with the lingo.
Yeah.
So he was talking about Marcel, and I was like, you know, and he was like something Jewish. I don't recall what the context was, and I was like, well, Marcel was Jewish. He goes, oh, was he? He goes, this is a Jewish heckler, ladies and gentlemen. They just corrected. I was like, I was wearing a keyboard. Anyway, so that was funny, and then out of nowhere, for some reason, just Dave Chappelle just comes and does a 45-minute set. And he's like, he was telling us he just got back from filming Chappelle show.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you know, borrowing or snatching cigarettes from us the whole time.
Yeah.
And then the way he started out the set, he got up on stage, right? And they have a piano there. And so he just kind of looked at the audience. He didn't say a word. Yeah. You know, he went, and then he kind of went up to the piano and he kind of looked around. This is going on for like 3 minutes, silence, right? And he goes, dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. He's like, you remember that from Eyes Wide Shut? Dun, dun, dun. He just did that for like... That shit was funny.
No, it goes dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun,
it was like
dun,
that.
Dun, 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 dun.
And then, so then, I don't know, for some reason, like later in his set, he grabbed one of the Alex's cell phones. Yeah. I think it was CD. I'm not sure. And he opened up his phone. He's contacts. He goes, "What the fuck, Alex? What the fuck?" I swear, dude. There's many people who can confirm the story. It's crazy, right?
That's hilarious.
Dude, what a lineup! I forget about that.
My favorite Dave Attell skit was he just goes, he's like, you ever go out with your friend, you know, at the bar or whatever, some party, and then he's like, and it's just you're sitting there and nothing's happening. Yeah, he's like 5 minutes after you. He's like, no, he goes, he calls you the next morning. You should have hung out, man. 5 minutes after you left.
Wait, back up. Here's the routine. He goes, hey, you ever go out with your friends, right? Yeah. And then you decide to leave early? Yeah. Mistake, huh? No. Because every time, next day, your friend's like, hey, man, 5 minutes after you left, the Spice Girls showed up and had sex with everybody.
Yeah, midgets. No, he's like, midgets,
even the guy
hookers.
In the Babylon 5 t-shirt got to live.
Yeah, he's like, midgets, hookers, cocaine, balloons. Midgets and balloons is the best. And hookers and cocaine. 5 minutes. Should have hung out, man.
Yeah. He's like,
and then Jim Norton also was at Comedy Cellar. Jim Norton.
No, he was. Yeah,
and Godfrey was there a lot of times. I know black.
Godfrey did this thing. I saw Godfrey there one time. Yeah. He goes, man, in Nigeria, he goes, the sun's like right here. You know, he's like pointing to the back of his neck. It's like right there.
Yeah.
He's all right. He was funny.
He used to imitate his father. He's like, you are going to out. He's like, you're going to go out. You're going to meet his, you know, dad's from Nigeria. He's like, you're going to meet with vagabonds. And then he's like, and then what? And then he's like, and then you will end up the night in prison. And then who is going to pay for it? Me? I'm going to pay for it? It's like every sentence of my father ended in, who is going to pay for it?
His father is very sensible. Yeah. His father was right on all counts, by the way.
He's like my friends used to call the house and they used to get on the you know, my dad used to leave the thing on the answering machine and they'd be like, Mufasa? Godfrey is not here. No, he's like, he used to answer, he's like, can I speak to Godfrey? Godfrey is not here. Who may I ask is speaking? Mufasa? Jaffer?
Yeah. King Jaffer. The royal The Royal Art of Zamunda.
Yes.
Master of all he what is he?
All
Master
he
of all he
surveys. Yeah.
That's so funny, man.
Dude, I don't know. There was one guy, I don't even know his name. It was very late. It was 1:30 a.m. or 2 a.m. It was a hot summer night. This guy comes up. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and he starts playing. He's like white, but he looks like Ted Kaczynski basically.
Oh boy!
And he starts playing First he plays a ukulele, then he stops with the ukulele. Then he sits up. They had that piano. He sits kind of like with his feet on the piano, then squatting down. And he just sat there, and he just would weird people out, and then like people start leaving. And then anybody who's almost that door like almost at the end, he's like, "You leaving? Hey you!" He's like, "Hey you leaving? I'll kill you." He's like, "Don't leave, I kill." He's like, it's like looks like Ted Kaczynski just came out of the forest. "Don't leave, I kill you." Dude, me and my friends, you made it into like a thing when we used to like hang out, and I was like, "All right, dude, I'm gonna go home." And he used to go like, "Don't leave, I'll kill you." It just like became a thing. He's like,
that was the whole act.
It was the whole thing. He's like, well, no, he's just like saying random crap. He's like cracked out. I don't know what he's playing ukulele. Just odd absurdism, like.
And they just let him on. He was like doing.
They just let him. Yeah, they just let him do it because it's like 1:30 in the morning. This is back when you could still smoke in Comedy Cellar. And my friends were sitting there smoking cigarettes, and like it was just like 1:30, 2 a.m. They're just like, it's just back when like the owner, the Israeli woman, used to like stand outside just to get people in when nobody would, it was like half empty. Yeah. It was like mamish, like half empty, or it was just the summer, everybody was away. We talk 1998, 1999, before it became big. Dude, you know how I found that place? It was a rainy night in 97, and we were just walking on McDougal, and this woman is standing there handing out, the owner, I forget her name, she's an Israeli woman, just handing out flyers. She's like, "We have free comedy tonight." Free comedy. We just walked in. It was like midnight, raining.
Yeah, I don't think there was a charge when I went.
It was free. All you had to do was, I don't even know if they had like, what's it called? I think they
had a 2-drink minimum.
I think they had a 2-drink, but it was like you can get Coca-Cola or something like that, or like a water. It was
dude. Can I tell you? Wait. I'm sorry. I'm scared this is gonna slip out of my head.
Yeah.
I think the world should benefit from this.
Yeah.
There's this comedian that I saw in Miami. And his name was Dove. Oh, man, what am I talking about? Dove. Every time I say Dove, the word heikened comes into my head. But this is he was like a well-known comedian. Dove, not Dove Charney. What the hell, Dove? You know what I'm talking about? Let me find out. Hold on. He kind of has like a wigger.
Yeah.
He's like.
Hold on.
He's like a little bit Marky Mark,
Oh, Dove Davidoff?
Yes. Thank you.
I just looked it up.
Dude, that guy was funny.
Yeah.
Very, very funny.
Yeah.
He said this thing that I cannot forget.
Yeah.
His routine was okay, but he goes, "I got a gay cousin, right?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Why does he always looks at me like he's smelling cookies?"
Yeah.
He always has this look on the face like he's smelling cookies.
That's funny.
Like fresh baked cookies. Yeah, he has that like look on his face, like.
That's hilarious.
Dude, you could picture that, right? That hit me so hard. That was hilarious.
Dude, who is a comedian that sometimes appears on Joe Rogan's show? He's like bald. He used to perform.
Old chubby dude?
No. He used to do this thing where he's actually not Jewish, but he imitates an Israeli guy. Really funny. And he used to do this whole thing of like, "Hey, you need to suck my coke." Like, I don't know.
I don't know what that
is. He just had like this whole thing about like he would imitate Arsim, like these like tough army Israeli dudes, but he's not Jewish. The guy's not Jewish at all. I saw him in Gotham once. Gotham or I think it was in Gotham. Or Stand Up New York.
The only two clubs in New York that I ever went to was obviously the Cellar, and then in Sheepshead Bay. What was the name of the club?
Oh my God. Oh my God. It was next to Lundy's. Yes. What's his name used to perform there? Dice Clay.
I saw Dice there.
I didn't see him there, but I went to that. It was called.
Hold on, Comedy Club. She said that. Hold on, Comedy.
Pips.
That's right.
Dude, it got closed. Wait, the owner passed away. Marty Schultz, owner of Pitt. Okay. Is it still there? I think it closed.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember it was like
a documentary.
Yeah. The Dice Man cometh. Plays. I think plays closed. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, no, Pips. That had to be the Dice Man's his stomping grounds because that's the neighborhood he's from.
Do you know that guy Vic DiBattista? This guy on YouTube. He's a comedian. He's an Italian guy. He makes fun of things and pretends like he's angry.
That sounds like Sebastian
Maniscalco. No, this guy is actually, in my opinion, fun. Here, I'll play you his Vic DiBattista here. There's a clip. There you go. An idiot chocolate. Okay. No, he had one about here. This is his more. It's called Bread and Milk. This is his original the one that went viral. And he says he has another one called Ticked Off Thick, a message to the government. Here, you want to hear this one? This is actually better.
All right.
This is, but he sounds like more conservative, but I don't know. He's trying to be kind of apolitical. But here.
How the fuck does that help, you greedy cocksuckers?
Whoa.
Listen.
The mouth on that guy.
Listen.
Hey, what do you say? My Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus, your sister's ass, the Pony Express, very ticked off thick here. You know what ticks me off? Having to tell the government what to do because they have their heads in their asses. Now follow me. There's something that's been bothering me, so I'm just going to say it now. Dear government, we understand that the virus is not your fault.
This is April 2020.
It is what it is. I'm not going to get into that idea that maybe you could have acted sooner. We can deal with that when this is all over. But here's the deal. We need a real fucking plan. It was the right move to make everyone stay home because that's the only way to deal with a virus like this. But here's where I have a problem. So, you told us to shut down non-essential businesses. You told us to go home and quarantine. You told us we have to keep social distance and stay inside. But you told us you would help. So where is the fucking help? These checks are what they are. I mean, let's be serious. I'm not going to turn away $1,200 because number one, if you're going to give it to me, I'm taking it. And number two, it's our fucking money, not yours. It's ours. We paid that.
He looks like he's blowing a gasket and he has spit coming out.
Day. So, okay.
Yeah.
Look at the typical family: mortgage payment, healthcare payment.
Everybody from Brooklyn is like that.
Water, garbage, phone, blah 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 blah. So maybe the $1,200 covers the mortgage. But what about all the other costs that we have each month? This $1,200 thing isn't doing shit for the normal working family.
That sounds like a conversation you have with somebody on the train.
Dude, the spit is flying at this guy.
Yeah.
Actually, but I wanted you to hear a more fun. This is more there. See, he's got his growing up Italian. It's like a stand-up thing. Here, take the. I just want you.
It sounds like Dom Irera, except Dom Irera is
similar. He's a little
vein. He's a little more adult.
Here you go. The bank drive-through. Here you go. The bank drive. This section.
Hey, what do you say? My Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram.
This is from 2015.
Sister's ass, the Pony Express. Right. Keep it title here. I'm at the drive-through banking. I don't want to film the idiot ahead of me because I might get in trouble. So I'll just describe what's the scene before me. The lady got out of the car because she couldn't reach the box. So now she's standing outside her car. Waiting for the box to come back instead of pulling close to the.
You should see his face.
Just a small microcosm of why this country is where it is. There's just too many fucking stupid people. And you look at them. She's still standing. Just as she's looking at me. She thinks I'm crazy because I'm talking to myself. What was I saying?
If this guy was Jewish, he would daven for Moshiach every day. You know what I'm saying? He'd be the most fervent Lubavitcher.
Yeah, something about his I don't like that kind of stuff. These people, the problem with the world is
but he's just tired of the world. He's just tired.
I understand. So that's like Bill Burr. He's like Bill Burr was saying. He goes. I think that there's just too many of us. You know what I mean? I think most of us should die. That's what he said.
Well, he agrees with Bill Gates a little bit. No.
He must have hung out with Bill Gates a little bit, right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So he's like, you know what I think we should do? I think we should just start sinking cruise ships. And the guy, I think this was on Conan, and he's like, Conan's like, well, why cruise ships? He goes, it's just a good collection of people to sink, you know? He goes, it'll be like a merry-go-round, you know? You just sink the cruise ship, right? And then just kind of, you build a new one, right? So it creates jobs.
That's really funny.
That's
like actually how they do it.
I mean, he's like, we should kill everybody in prison and fill the potholes with their ashes. You have to solve two problems at once.
That's very
guys are animals.
So, what is the, how should I put this? I guess to segue into the whole topic of Moshiach, since
no, we need a little bit more of a cushion. I'm not going straight from that guy.
Tell me about standing on one leg or standing on two legs, or if you even want three legs. Tell me about Rabbi Isser Weisberg's, I guess you could call it the uncovering, or the discovery, or the whatever he revealed, which a lot of people got upset.
So we got to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
Because very, very sensitive information, right?
Yeah.
And it's not secret. I mean, he posted it, but you have to be very, very careful to get it right.
Yeah.
Because if we screw up here, and people are going to be like, oh, you know.
Wait, we have to get it right, or he has to get it right, or we have to say.
No, we have to get it right. He got it right. Yeah. We have to get it right.
Fine.
Right? So, and he, first of all, what he's saying is that this is his best. He's very, very compelled by the information, and it's very difficult to see how it could be wrong. Although he's not against the idea of him being wrong.
Yeah.
But it seems like very reliable intel.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just introduce this subject by saying that. And remember, I was saying like we should watch the videos like together, because if I miss something, you know, you can explain it, and vice versa.
Yeah.
With Rabbi Weisberg's information, we got to be mad careful to not misrepresent him.
Yeah. That's true.
Because you know how easy it is to like, you know, to just, you know, you have a group of people that might be receptive, right? Yeah. And if you misrepresent something, you just kind of like, you destroy the whole, like, you know, whatever you call it, you know what I mean?
The whole kind of
the
whole movement.
It, and it's gold.
It's kind of like Dave Chappelle. Why don't you tell him he was black? It would be bad for the movement.
Well, it's not like that, but
why'd you tell him he's black?
Right, that's kind of different, but I see. You know, there's something there. I understand.
No analogy is perfect, as we say.
Yeah.
No analogy is perfect.
Right. But no. So basically, Rabbi Weisberg, he wants us to look at certain things.
Yeah.
That Chazal said, and that's pretty much it. It's very important to emphasize that. He just wants us to look at statements that, like Rashi, you know? Like look at what Rashi says, in the last chapter of Daniel, right? On I think pasuk 12, right before the last pasuk. There's a Rashi there that should interest everyone, and in that chapter, the pasukim, and in the previous chapter, I believe, it has to do with the conversation that Daniel is having with Gabriel. And Gabriel is revealing to him information about the end times as to when it will happen. Okay? Yeah. And he gives him these very cryptic statements. And Daniel is like, I don't understand what this means. Reveal it to me. And Gabriel said, well, to paraphrase, no.
No. Daniel turns into the Japanese president.
Daniel is the Japanese president.
No, Kamala Harris, bitch. No, sucky. Orange, bitch. Get off stage. Go away.
Dude, don't mess with Daniel, bro. I mean, either one of them, but don't mess with Gabriel. Yeah. The man is a serious man. By the way, just can we take a sidebar here for a second?
Yes.
It's very interesting. So I was revisiting some of those clips from the Star Trek episodes that I like, from The Next Generation. Mm-hmm. And I showed you that character Q, right? Yeah. And there are some episodes where there are other Q members, right?
Yeah.
And they all call each other Q. Like another one of them shows up.
Be careful saying that letter, by the way. On the
I know, but listen, we're talking about Star Trek, okay? All right, guys.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure we are.
Shut up, bro.
It's like Eddie Murphy. Sure, you're not a homosexual.
Right.
It's like when he's talking about AIDS in the 80s. He's like,
what is
you're
this?
homosexual.
What is this?
He's like, I'm not homosexual. He's like, sure, you're not homosexual.
Right.
He
goes later on, after I did that bit, right? And I was at parties and there was like gay dudes. They were looking at me. They're like, he's an asshole. He's an asshole.
He's an asshole. Yeah.
He goes, I went to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then I got pulled over by the cops, and it was like, it was like, wee, wee, wee. He goes, it wasn't even a siren. It's just a gay guy going,
pull down your pants and spread them. Pull down your pants and spread them.
What is this? What is it?
Are you carrying any concealed weapons? What is this? He's like, and they just look at you. I can feel my ass get. He's like, when I'm up on stage, my ass get hot. He's like, don't look at. He's like, I have one rule: don't look at me when I'm on. He's like, FAGGOTS cannot look at me when I'm on stage. He's like, my ass get hot. That's when you could say stuff and nobody got, it was just love. It was he's like literally, I kid the homosexuals because they're homosexuals.
Right, no, but then he tried to redeem himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, man, listen, I joke around a lot, but you can hang out with gay people, you could play tennis with him, for instance, right? So you'd be like, hey, man, good game. So, what you gonna do now? He goes, I'm gonna go have sex with some guy. He goes, I'm gonna go home. he's like, I'm
gonna go suck some, and I'll see you later. All right.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, all right, peace. All right. Very good.
All right, we got to get back on track.
Anyway, let's go back to Rabbi Weisberg and Moshiach.
No, I need a couple of layers of the Havdil before
This is major. This is a Chinese wall full of Havdils.
Yo, yeah, I kind of gradually got to work my way back.
I think we inundated this podcast, which I don't even mind. I think it's good. We inundated this podcast with a lot of stand-up references and stories. I think it's good.
Dude, nothing here is deliberate. We're just talking.
No.
This is what there is. We're trying it with two dudes.
This is what humans who are not trying to what we call in Russian позировать for yeshiva.
I'm not trying to be a poser. Just this is it. That's the point of these conversations. Just to kind of. Yeah. So basically, let me see. I can work my way back. So I did Eddie Murphy. What was I talking about for Eddie Murphy? It wasn't.
You were talking about were talking about Q, the Star Trek guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, thank you. All right. So this is actually the point. That's good that we got back on it. Mm-hmm. So all right. So remember how we were talking about the different angelic. I don't know. I don't want to use the word collectives, but these kind of species, we could say, right? Different angelic groups, for instance, Metatron, right? Yeah. And Sandalphon, right? So all of these are not single entities. We're talking about groups, entire species of angels or whatever, right? So the Sandalphon, right? Yeah. That's not necessarily the name of one angel. That's the name of a species of angels, right? And then and they have individual entities, but they're all known by the same name. They're all doing the same. They're working in the same department. Yeah. So it's interesting because Star Trek must have gotten that idea. I mean, from that, I'm not going to say from us, but from us. You know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Because this Q character is just like that. So basically, they have, even when the other, we got one main Q guy, right? He's the main Q dude. And then every now and then, you have these other Q members. And Q, by the way, stands for continuum. Actually, no, it doesn't. Continuum is a C word, but there's some, I don't recall. But for some reason, they call themselves Q. Okay. Whenever they see each other, even the females.
Right? Let me do a Jamie on myself and tell you why. It's the name of a race.
Yeah.
It's
no, but the point is, they call each other Q.
Yeah,
they're like, Q. Oh, Q. Hey, what's going on?
Q. Q. It's called Q Continuum.
Yeah.
Applies to the name of the race and the Q continuum itself, an alternate dimension accessible to only the Q and their invited guests. The true nature of the realm is said to be beyond the comprehension of lesser beings, such as humans. Therefore, it is shown to humans only in ways they can understand, i.e., run-down gas station in the middle of nowhere.
On a deserted desert road, right?
It's like Hotel California. Deja Q episode called Deja Q. No, whatever. This is they go over like different.
So just the way he kind of like zooms in and out of reality, you know, time and space mean nothing to him. Mm-hmm. He's basically, you know, they're relatively like omnipotent, not entirely, but like from the realm that they understand. Like they understand like their playground is the galaxy. Yeah. Like the galaxy is their domain. They can probably go to other galaxies, but listen, there's levels to reality that are much higher than galaxies, and you know. So let's say the Q are like, you know, they're like the masters of ASEA, let's say, you know, like if we had to force it. Yeah. Okay. So that's why it's very, very interesting that it's a great metaphor. It's a great like tool. It's like if you want to like Bart Saldo talks about these guys all the time, but he says, you know, he for some reason he likes to say the Borg, you know, because like they have like a hive mind.
Yeah.
But that's not
the Borg,
really
B-O-R-G, like a cyborg.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's this like kind of like alien race in the like they're like the main villains in the Star Trek universe about the Borg. Uh-huh. What they do is they kind of they conquer all planets, take over all the humanoid beings, and assimilate them. And they create, you know, they make them into these like Borg, you know, these like cyborg like creatures, mm-hmm. right? It doesn't matter what race. They assimilate everyone, all the humanoid, you know, the Klingons and then the Vulcans. It doesn't matter. Everybody becomes Borg. You understand? Yeah. And it's terrifying. They look like these like robot zombies, basically, right? Yeah. And they're all connected to the hive mind, mm-hmm. right? So they all like work like together, but in a robotic way. And we're not, you know, that's not a malachim. You know what I mean? That's like some kind of horror movie. Yeah. That's like what the technocrats are trying to make us into.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not.
They're trying to make us into what is it? The metaverse, so like Ready Player One. If you ever saw that movie, that's what Mark wants to accomplish here. You know.
It's funny. It's funny. Like people don't understand. One little like I think it was Ben Shapiro. He actually said that on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, let's say like there's a solar flare that knocks out the entire grid. That's it.
Yep.
Right? Everybody has to get up and get into the world, and then you'll have an entire generation of people who don't know how to do that.
Yep. Yeah, but that's what they're, you know, they want to put everybody in. I don't know. Did you see that movie, Ready Player One? The real world is like a dystopia, and people live in like these shanty towns, but like their lives inside that thing are like incredible.
Right.
You know, the contrast between their life in real life and that realm is like.
Yeah, that's already like I think that crap started with like Warcraft, right? That was
Tron,
like already
Tron, all that stuff, yeah.
Not Tron so much.
Well, yeah, that was more a game.
Tron was like the guy was literally zapped into the computer, you know, physically. Like he wasn't even like. That was a great movie, man. I loved it. Yeah. That whole movie looked like just a giant Swatch watch to me.
Yeah.
That's very original.
I saw the new Tron. The soundtrack is actually pretty good. I gotta say.
You mean the one like from 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, the one with where like Jet Bridges already plays the father.
Yeah.
Tron 2, and like the soundtrack is good.
It got a lot darker. The story. There was an entire Holocaust of beings. Like what the?
But it wasn't from 10 years ago. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Tron Legacy. Yeah, it's not from 10 years. It's from like I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah,
it's like 2011.
Yeah, 2010. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right. Yes, Tron Legacy. Yeah. So yeah, the soundtrack was very good. The soundtrack was pretty sick. It was probably when like the underground was still the underground, and that's like the end of when everything was underground, and you know, stuff was going already.
Did you ever have a Commodore 64?
I did. I used one in school. I never had one at home. At home already, my father bought. He bought a Gateway 2000 for like $2,000. I remember 1990 or something like that. He bought one. because he was a programmer, so he was just like he got one.
My brother had a Commodore 64. It's awesome.
Those things were crazy. Yeah. I remember playing like Oregon Trail on that, and this is in school. And
I wish I could remember the name to one of these games. It's like, man.
Do you remember Pitfall? The game Pitfall?
Okay, hold on. Before you say that, this could be the name of the game that I was. Whenever you would die, there would be like a little song that goes dun, 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 every time. You know what I'm talking about?
It could be Pitfall.
It's like a little dude, just like a little pixelated guy who like he's trying to jump around and then he dies.
But it's not. It's not Mario, obviously.
Not Donkey Kong. Definitely not.
It could be Pitfall. It could be. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe it was Fester's Quest. Or like,
crazy. That could be it.
Do you remember Castlevania? Or
yeah, on Nintendo. I had it on Game Boy. Yeah. But remember Leisure Suit Larry?
Oh my God!
You remember that, right? Holy shit! No one remembers that, dude. Leisure Suit Larry.
You know what? I think they have it on YouTube, just like the walkthrough.
I think that was the first true incarnation. Of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, no, it was.
It was like
that's exactly what
the concept.
Yeah. Dude, there's a modern version of Leisure Suit Larry. The name of the game is. I shouldn't even say it. I shouldn't even say the name of the game. Awful. Just awful.
Oh man, it's some kind of porny thing, right?
It's like something to do with wet dreams.
Nah. Let's
keep it.
Let that one go to the wayside. Let's just push that over.
Yeah.
I don't want it to get crazy.
In any event, so you were talking about Rabbi Weisberg's Moshiach thing.
No, just saying. We're talking. Let's get back to the queue for a second, and then we'll move on to Rabbi Weisberg. Anyway, so no, because we were talking about Gabriel. The angel Gabriel, right? So he's part of the Metatron collective. Right, so when you're talking to Gabriel, Anyway, I just wanted to, because we were talking about that in a previous conversation. Sandalphon, right? Like in relation to Eliyahu Hanavi.
Yeah.
So he's talking to Gabriel, Daniel, back in the book of Daniel. He's talking to Gabriel, and Gabriel is giving him all these codes. He's saying stuff like he's giving him numbers like 1335 and 1290. So basically. I think if I have to make sure that disclaimer, I'm not sure if I'm getting this right because we're going to come back to this. We're going to become more accurate from now on. Yeah. But I think that it has something to do with the end time. Yeah. So the angel was saying that after 1335 years, after a certain point, but he was actually giving two numbers, 1290 and 1335. Mm-hmm. So the point is, it's something between 1290 and 1335. If you were to subtract 1290 from 1335, you get 45. Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically, when the commentators, I think like Rashi, when they were talking about when the angel was giving the time of the date of the end time, or the amount of years until the end time. So the question is, when do you start counting? Mm-hmm. So, because of some of the statements in the pasuk, in the verse in Daniel, so it had something to do with the destruction of the temple, right? In this case, the second temple, and he mentioned something about an abomination on the Temple Mount. The angel was saying that there will be an abomination on the Temple Mount. So everybody assumed that was when the Romans destroyed the second temple, and then years later they built a temple to Jupiter. Hadrian, he built a temple to Jupiter on the Temple Mount. Yeah. So that's what people assumed was was it. But when you start counting from that point, you end up, in the 1400s, mm-hmm. And that is not obviously that's not when Moshiach came. Although something significant did happen from that point. That was, Columbus discovering America, but that's a separate topic. Yeah. So the question is, when do you start counting from? And also, you can't just start counting when it's convenient. It has to be in line with with what the verse is saying. You know, the abomination on the Temple Mount.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 692, they built the Dome of the Rock.
Yeah.
And why is the Dome of the Rock an abomination? It's a nice building, looks nice, right? Could be worse. You know, it's at least it's not an idol worshiping temple, right?
Yeah.
No, well, honestly, well, you know, the question, like, if there's going to be, would you rather have on the Temple Mount if you had to choose a church, a pagan temple, or an Islamic a mosque? At least, you know, they don't worship idols, right?
Yeah, Rambam says you can dominate a mosque.
Right. So okay. So on the one hand, it's better, but on the other hand, but why would it be referred to as an abomination? Because on that mosque specifically, you have statements written on the building that deny one of the, or probably more than one of the fundamental, one of the 13 principles of faith, namely that, you know, they said that, you know, their prophet, you know, trumps.
In the words of Mike Tyson, there is one God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet.
No, but they didn't just say that.
He's like, I'm Jack Dempsey. I'm Alexander. And no one can match me.
No. we got to put Tyson to the side because we're going to lose the point in this. This is like you know, this is like the hard part to explain. Yeah. So basically, and then we'll get back to Tyson. I got a great joke about Tyson, by the way, from Damon Wayans. But all right, so basically, I don't want to get Damon Wayans in trouble. Yeah. But so basically, there were statements on the mosque that it's not like we believe in God and we believe Allah is Muhammad is the best. That's not what we're talking about. Yeah. You know, you're allowed to have your opinion, but they were like, and Moses sucks. You know, stuff like that. You know, Muhammad kicks Moses' ass. You know, he you know, Muhammad takes over from Moses. Doesn't have the same thought. They were like denigrating Moshe, right? And in our belief, you know, we were reading the 13 principles of faith. The prophecy of Moshe is the top. It will never be surpassed, not even by Moshiach. Yeah. So, and that's very, very fundamental because the Torah is immutable, and it's the Torah specifically that was prophesied by Moshe. Okay, so when you're denying Moshe, you're denying everything essentially. Okay, he's a foundation of that. Okay, so that is an abomination. Okay, and especially when you're doing that specifically on the Jewish site, you know, that was like in your face, motherfuckers, right? That wasn't like, oh yeah, we have a different belief and we're just building a mosque, you know. All right, that's fine, but no, we're doing it on your main site, motherfucker. Suck it. That's what it means. Yeah. It's an abomination.
I'm assuming you're doing level pay just for effect purposes, not to.
What am I doing?
You're like MFing all over the place, just so you can emphasize what the Muslims were trying to convey to us.
I'm just talking the way I communicate. Yeah. You know, I want to get to the point of what is actually being communicated, and I think it was very, very accurate. Yeah. Under the circumstances. Yeah. Okay. You know, beating around the bush, you can lose people's. Yeah. You know, people are like, "What are you talking about?" Like when you're trying to find, like, you're talking for 5 hours trying to find a different way of saying, you know, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's what they're saying. Okay, and
it's kind of like the Bernie Mac whole skit. You know, the word MF is a noun, adjective is a noun and a verb. It's like to describe a person, place, or thing.
Like, you might hear a couple of
guys. You see that MF Bobby? If you don't have my MF money, I'm a bust his MF head, and I'm out this MF.
No, hold on, wait. I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to do the Damon Wayans thing. Yeah. He's like, this is great. I don't remember the context, but he was talking about. He goes, "Yo, man, I saw Mike Tyson walking around with some other, like, he named some other boxer who was also like a super, like he was like a middle heavyweight."
Razor Ruddock, maybe?
No, not Razor Ruddock. No. This is his Mike Tyson's friend. He was a champion boxer in a different weight class, also a legendary boxer. Okay. And so he was walking, and I, you know, he's like, Damon Wayans is like, he goes, and I didn't do any jokes about him, but my brother Keenan did, right? Mm-hmm. And he couldn't tell the difference between me and Keenan, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, he goes, there he is! Right? He was doing an impression of Mike Tyson recognized me. He goes, there he is! Right? And he ran over to him. He goes, hey, you're the funny man, right? You're the funny man that was saying these funny things about me. Is that right? You funny man? Right? Is that you funny man?
By the way, can I just say, my friend Ari Lewis, the one I do interviews with in Israel, I gotta get in touch with him. He would love to hear this right now, because he actually interviewed for his Israel Sports Radio show a few boxers, like famous boxers. I think he interviewed Roy Jones at one point.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah, this is back in 10 years ago. But yeah, so he would love this whole exchange. Anyway,
he probably knows this. He's like, here he is, funny man. Come here, funny man. Come here. And then Damon Wayans, he says how Mike Tyson, he puts his arm around him, and he's like starts biting his neck. He's like, come here, funny man. You think you're funny, man? You think you're funny, right? He goes, don't make funny man anymore, funny man, because I'll design a punch that'll make your liver bleed. He's like, I'll design a punch that'll make your liver bleed. That was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life until that point. I don't know why it's funny. I'll design a punch. That's so original.
Yeah, listen, because he did design punches. There's punches that he threw that if you just sit down and watch I don't know, they have Mike Tyson's
Peekaboo.
fastest knockout on YouTube.
Bro, it took me it took me 15 years of studying martial arts before I realized that Mike Tyson was a seriously talented martial artist.
Of course he was.
He's literally a martial genius.
He's a martial artist inside of he is boxing, but everybody else is boxing, and he's doing something else. He's doing
he's doing a martial art that was founded by a Jewish guy named Slapsy Maxi. It's called the Peekaboo Technique.
Yeah. Is that
it's
so? Wait, so basically, what's his name? Cuz D'Amato took that from the Jewish guy.
Yeah, from Slapsy Maxi Cohen. You can just Google Slapsy Maxi.
Hold on, Slapsy.
Slapsy, like slap and then S-I-E.
There we go, Slapsy Maxi. Maxi Rosenblum. There we go.
Rosenblum. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but that was his he was sometimes billed as Slapsy Maxi Rosenblum for film appearances. So he's basically is an international Jewish sports hall of fame.
Hardest boxing style to learn, but if you learn it,
a professional boxer relied on hitting and moving to score points. It was very difficult to hit cleanly with a power punch, and his fights often went the full number of. It's funny because this guy went the full, the distance every time.
No, because he didn't have. So basically, it's like Tyson was like Slapsy Maxi with perhaps almost the amount of technique, but with much more power.
So listen, the legendary trainer Cus D'Amato later recalled that watching Rosenblum's brilliant performances inspired him for a quest to create a perfect fighter and to develop a unique boxing technique, later known as a peekaboo. Rosenblum was probably the cleverest fighter I've ever seen. Defensively, you just couldn't hit the man. He developed a sort of radar, a sense of anticipation of blows, an ability to react to that and act on it. So he says, so basically, I guess Cus D'Amato took that thing to the next level.
Very, 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 very similar to a Japanese story that I heard a while ago. I think there was a guy. He was a son of a Japanese lord who wanted to become a great samurai. I think his name was Matajuro. And he was walking around trying to find the greatest master to learn from. And so I don't recall how he found the guy, but basically he was told about some hermit somewhere in the mountains, that nobody goes to because the Tengu live there. The Tengu are these the demons, whatever. That incidentally taught the Japanese all the arts, all the sciences and everything. Anyway. So he found the hut where the hermit lives, and he walked in there. He didn't even knock. He just walked in there because he's the son of the Lord, right? So basically, he's he walked in there and it was dark. There was no lights on in the hut, and he's like, old man, are you here? He's like, yes. He goes, how long for me to become? I want to become a master. How many years for me to become a master? He said 10. 10 years. He goes, what if I train twice as hard? He goes, 20 years. Right?
That's hilarious.
Right. No, but basically the story, the way that I think that they probably got some of the Karate Kid. Remember when Paparita got Daniel to wash all the cars? He's wax on, wax off. Right. So he thought that he was being, the guy was using him as a slave. He got a free slave, to trick him. So that happened to Matajuro. So he was, the guy's like, before I teach you anything, you will do all the chores and you'll do this and you'll do that, right?
No.
So Yeah. Yeah. After a couple
he taught
of
him he taught him how to be Japanese president.
He taught him how to be Japanese peasant. But after a couple of weeks, he's like, I think I've been conned. I think this guy just tricked me into being a servant boy. And while he was washing dishes in the valley where the river was flowing through, because this is like a mountainous area, as he was thinking that thought, that he's like, I've been tricked, he got whacked in the head. And it was a guy. So the guy was waiting for the right moment to whack him in the head. The most vulnerable moment, the moment where he's most in his own head. Right, where everything else is. So he was waiting for that moment to hit him, and he's like, "What the hell?" Anyway, so the point is that the guy would, from that point on, would just hit him in the most vulnerable moments, like in the middle of REM sleep. Like he's like the deepest part of sleep. You just whack him on the head.
Like I was yesterday, and then
during
the podcast.
Yeah, when Freddy Krueger pulled you into the bed. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I was just like.
That was terrible.
You're like talking, and you're saying profound. I probably absorbed that information, which was like Kabbalah, into my subconscious. But I just knocked out like a light, man. I got like 3 hours.
Oh, dude, you got to give me a chance to finish that point, because I still need to redeem myself from whatchamacallit.
Lloyd, just when I thought, and he's like, and then you go and you redeem yourself.
Yeah.
Dumb and dumber.
Yeah. All right. So basically, I'll finish the Matsujiro story.
Yeah.
Because it lines up with what you were saying.
Yeah.
So he just kept getting hit. And remember, he was trying to learn how to be a swordsman, a samurai, right?
Yeah.
And the entire time that he lived with the guy, he never touched the sword, ever. But he developed a supernatural ability to not get hit.
Yeah.
Because when you get hit in the most vulnerable moments, it creates such trauma that it forces your body, your mind, and your consciousness to develop the sense to not experience that anymore.
Yeah.
So that must be what happened to Ashley Maxey.
Yeah.
Only somebody who experienced something like that could develop that kind of,
Just radar.
The artful dodger.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's the term for a guy like that. He can somehow get away, dodge everything.
Was also a track. No, not a track. I'm sorry. No, Artful Dodger. He was a progressive house. It was a duo, actually. UK garage duo. Artful Dodger.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a very old term.
Yeah. But that's the first time I heard it was these guys.
It's a character from it was a Dickens character. I don't recall what book. But it might be even older than that too. The term itself.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me quickly take a look at this.
Artful Dodger, featuring Craig David. Rewind.
Number 2. Artful Dodger is I'm sorry, Jack Dawkins. From Oliver Twist, of course. He was like this. Anyway, so how do we get from that? Oh yeah, because we finished. Whatever. So back to Daniel for a second, okay? So we established we're trying to talk about the mosque rather than the temple of Jupiter being the abomination on the Temple Mount. And the mosque was built in 692 AD or CE. Okay? So if you count that as the abomination, which is likely the case, okay? So and then you add 1290 to that. You want to do the math? Got the calculator?
What's the first number again?
Okay, so the mosque on the Temple Mount was built in 692.
692 and plus 1290. We did this, and it's 1982.
1982. Okay. Okay. So we got that 12. Okay, so 1290 we got from the angel Gabriel in the book of Daniel.
Yeah.
But he also gave us another number, 1335.
Yeah.
Right? What was it? 1335?
Or 65.
No, it must have been 35. Hold on. It was 1335.
Okay. Plus. Okay,
so if you were going to do, okay, so then let's say you
plus
got
692 is 2027. We came up with 2027.
Right. So if you add 1335, which is the other number given to us by the angel Gabriel, explicitly in the book of Daniel, okay? Yeah. So then you have the year 2027.
Yeah.
So we have these two, we have 1290
Yeah.
And then 1335.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you add 1290 from 692, you get 1982.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you add 1335 to 692, you get the year 2027.
Yeah.
But so in between 1982 and 2027, there's a 45-year period.
Yeah.
The Rashi talks about the 45-year period.
Yeah.
And he discusses. People should take a look at that Rashi and see what it says, rather than have me explain it.
Yeah.
But it's very, very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, if you look at other statements by Chazal about the time period of Mashiach, the 40 to 45-year period of things going on, of the activities of Mashiach ben Yosef,
the ingathering of exiles.
Right. So everything happens in that 45-year period.
Yeah.
But it ends obviously at the year 2027, right?
Yeah.
But then you have other Chazal that talk about how they bring sources as to how Mashiach doesn't come at the very end. The year 2027 represents the very end.
Yeah.
But there's sources in other places, which we'll present next time, which say that Mashiach comes a few years before the end. Right? And then you have
you have Rabbi Pitt, Winston talking about 2030.
No, it's not Rabbi Winston. I'm talking about the original Chazal sources.
Yeah.
Which we'll bring next time if people are interested in hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be best to have Rabbi Weisberg on himself. But it would be good to familiarize ourselves with it, to make sure that we get what he's saying correctly, so we don't piss him off, or misrepresent him.
I mean, you could always just be like, listen, can you clarify whatever it is?
Right. So, you see, the thing is, with watching his videos, he speaks at a certain rhythm. He's a little too fast for me.
Yeah, well, he's reading.
Not Ben Shapiro fast.
No, but he's reading from something that he himself prepared. You can tell he's reading from a prepared thing.
He'll have an 11-minute video. It takes me an hour to kind of really, Anyway, so I'm a little bit slow, so that's not. It shouldn't be like that for everybody. But and I have poor word recognition, so it's hard for me to. But so I recommend people to look at his. Familiarize yourself, before Greg has a chance to have him on, if he gets a chance to have him on, or if he wants to have him on.
Yeah. No, I definitely.
A lot of ifs.
He hasn't been on video since July, Rabbi Weisberg.
Right.
I don't really know why.
I mean, he might agree to it. He might agree to it. Somebody has an interest. A couple of Jewish guys, they want to talk to him about it. They want to get it right. Maybe he won't mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
so exciting, man. It's it's funny because a lot of people will probably say, to what you're saying or to what we're talking about, man, it's not good to do this because you're bringing people's hopes up, and if it Chas v'Shalom doesn't happen, it's been done a lot, the last few years, that people are calculating.
There's a big difference.
And it doesn't come along, and then people are like, it's like, what the heck,
There's a big difference. There's a big difference to what we're doing and what was done in the past.
Okay.
We are living in the end of the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but we're talking about what I'm talking about is not in the past. I'm talking about the last 10 years. There was people that were saying 5770 because of the Babbage. People were saying 50, whatever it is, different year, or even more recently, they thought it was going to be 2020, whatever.
Listen, we're going by Rashi and Chazal.
No, I know, but these people also went Russian as well. I'm just saying.
No, I don't think so.
They did. There's people who are doing crazy gematrias, crazy gematrias and crazy sources. I'm just saying,
are these no? But how? I don't know why. How? You see, that's a problem. When it comes to this kind of thing, certain things that are very different sound the same to everybody. Yeah, it's the same thing. No, it's not.
I hear. It's not the same. What I mean is,
crazy gematrias is one thing, but when you're talking about direct statements from Rashi and from Chazal,
true.
And we're not talking about gematrias. We're talking about.
But then people can come and say, "Well, you guys are just interpreting it this way. Maybe he was talking about the Babylonian war or whatever it is, and blah blah blah."
Correct. The abomination. It's all basically. This is all relying on whether or not we are interpreting the idea of the abomination on the Temple Mount correctly.
Correct. Yeah.
So to me, it feels like it is a very, very good candidate, probably the best candidate to qualify for the abomination on the Temple Mount because of what we were talking about.
Yeah.
That the things that are written on it that were more harmful to the psyche and the spirit of the Jewish people than even the Temple of Jupiter, because that's just a dumb pagan temple, right?
Yeah.
So and that building was built in 692, and we know from other sources, first of all, Chazal, the Gemara says that the world will last for 6,000 years, right? And we have other places in Chazal that say that Moshiach comes between 210 and 214 years before the year 6,000, because 6,000 is already the beginning of Shabbos. That's like the new world. That's Olam Haba.
It's Shabbat, yeah.
Right. So Mashiach, we know, has to come to prepare the world.
Listen, Rabbi Kessin says that we're already in Chatzot, and we're approaching Chatzot.
No, dude.
No, meaning,
we're about 1:15, 1:30.
No, we're not. I'll tell you, we're not.
1990
we're
was
at 12.
Chatzot.
No, we are at 12. No, 1990 is like early, so that we're at 12:40 right now. 12:45. That's where we're at.
I think we're at 1 o'clock. 42 years and like 8 months is a year.
There's blogs that have this cosmic clock here. I'm to like one of these Moshiach blogs here. They have here 12 cosmic clock 12:44, 12:45 on Friday afternoon. That's where we're at. 12:44, 54. It's either way. It's the earliest mincha you can daven.
You can bring Shabbos in early.
Yeah, you could. This is like if you bring in Shabbos in like Sweden or something like that, or whatever. It gets dark like super early. So like.
No, I've been wanting to do that. I've been wanting to bring Shabbos in early. No, because that contributes to bringing Mashiach early. That's the idea. You want to bring Shabbos in early because that means Mashiach will come early.
By the way, check this out. Somebody posted on the same blog on Sunday, transforming enemies from the teachings of Lubavitcher Rebbe. At the beginning of portion of Vayishlach, the Torah relates how Yakov sent emissaries to his brother Esav. He instructed them that when speaking to Esav, they should refer to Yakov as Esav's servant, and to Esav as Yakov's lord. Later on in the portion, we find Yakov bowing down 7 times before Esav, calling him many times my lord, and referring to him as your servant, to himself as your servant. Yaakov's extreme obsequiousness seems hard to fathom. In fact, the Midrash states that Yaakov was punished for sending emissaries to Esav and for calling him my lord. His profuse obeisance was considered sinful, especially so since God had already told Rivka that the older will serve the younger. Moreover, in Yitzhak's blessing to Yaakov, he specifically stated, you should be lord over your brother. What was the reason for Yaakov's servility? Since the patriarchs were wholly dedicated to God's will, evil could not have been part of their makeup, and thus for them to commit gross sins was an impossibility. Those actions that appear to be sins cannot be construed as such in the simple sense, heaven forbid. The proof that this is indeed so can be derived from this very incident. Although Yakov was punished for his actions, he nevertheless learned from his behavior that it is permissible to flatter the wicked for the sake of peace. Were Yakov's conduct to have been considered a true sin rather than a mere failing, we would never have derived a lesson from it. What then was the purpose of Yaakov's behavior? Hasidus explains that Esav's spiritual source was loftier than Yaakov's. By elevating Esav, Yaakov was able to draw down an additional measure of spirituality from his brother's spiritual origin. Yaakov's bowing before Esav, calling him my lord, was thus primarily directed to Esav's lofty source rather than to Esav himself. But the fact remains that Yaakov was totally subservient before his brother and was punished for it. How was this befitting Yaakov's spiritual quest? There are 2 methods by which evil can be vanquished and refined. One is to draw down a great measure of sanctity upon the object one wishes to refine. This is the effect of pushing aside the evil within the object and elevating the rest to holiness. The second approach involves the descent of the individual, bringing about the purification to the level at which the unrefined object exists. By thus coming into the intimate contact with the object, he is able to transform it from evil to good. Each of these methods has unique advantages. With regard to the person doing purification, there is obvious merit to drawing down an infusion of holiness, inasmuch as the person himself does not have to undergo a personal descent in order to purify and elevate an object. For the object involved, however, it is better if the person bringing about its purification actually descends into the object's realm. For them, rather than having the evil within it simply shunted aside, the object actually becomes holy and ceases to act as an entity that conceals godliness. The prime goal of Torah service is to bring peace within the world. Oh, goodness. What is that?
That was the dryer, my bad. Continue.
God. Dear Lord, I thought it was and true peace comes only when one's enemy is transformed into a friend. To bring peace within the world thus means that one is ready to get quote-unquote down and dirty, as it were, clothing oneself in worldly garments in order to transform the material world into a holy entity. In order for Yakov to truly transform his sibling, it was necessary to descend to the level of Esav as he found him. By doing so, he was able to transform Esav so that Esav said, let what yours, let what is yours remain yours, thereby admitting to Yakov that Yakov was entitled to Yitzchak's blessings, including the blessing of you should be a lord over your brother. I noticed that Chabad does that. That's when they, they become shluchim, they go to places like down to the people who are like in the gunk, and they themselves do not lose their, their kind of kedusha. And I always wondered how they did that. But when you learn Hasidus, you learn how to do that.
It's more than that, man. It's a connection to the Rebbe.
Yeah.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
So, it's that thing about it's that thing about a tzaddik being more involved in his people's, lives when he's not confined to a body than when he is. That's true for all tzaddikim. How much more so for the for the leader of the generation.
Yeah.
So, it's very interesting what you said. Like, there's a story from the Baal Shem Tov where he would say that I don't look at a person. I look at who they are and their origin in Olam Haba. I see them in their perfected state, and that's how I can love them.
That's difficult.
But that's what Yakov did to Esav. He looked at him in his and that's why. By the way, that's why Yitzchak loved him so much, because Yitzchak knew where he came from.
Well, the guy could have been Moshiach, so it's like.
Well, yeah, but hold on. This is the perfect opportunity to redeem myself. Mm-hmm. Remember when I was trying to say when you subtract the word Satan from Esav?
Yeah, you mentioned that about the whole Trump thing. I think.
I'm not sure. Well, I mean, it's related because the Trump Esav connection, right? Yeah. But when you take so the gematria of Esav, let's do it correctly. Esav is 70 plus 300 plus 6, 376. Yeah. Okay. Ayin is 70. Shin or sin is 300. Mm-hmm. And Vav is 6. That's 376. Mm-hmm. Okay. Satan is spelled sin, which is 300. Het, which is 9. Yeah. And Nun, which is 50. That's 359. Yeah. When you subtract 359 from 376,
that's 17.
17 is Tov. Mm-hmm. That's gematria of Tov. Mm-hmm. Good. So when you have and the word Tov is not a simple word. Like it's translated as good. Mm-hmm.
It's not.
And good is not that's not even like the best word in English, right? Like you have good and then you have the best or excellence, right? Yeah. In Hebrew, good means the ultimate goodness that could possibly be.
Yeah.
For instance, in the beginning, in the first chapter, it says, and God created this, and he saw this, and he saw that it was good.
Yeah.
Good means good, godly good. Whatever that, the definition of good according to God means it can't be better. Mm-hmm. Okay? So when you have, and by the way, the number 17 is also connected greatly to Yosef, because Yosef was 17 when he was sold into slavery, and there's a lot of interesting things that are related to this that we can talk to. Yeah. 17 is related to Yosef. 17 is related to good. It's related to beauty.
The episode after this one, God willing, will be 17.
Yeah, that's perfect time to discuss 17.
There you go.
17 is an extremely important number in the Fibonacci sequence, in the golden ratio. 17 itself.
It's a prime number, yeah.
Well, 17 itself is not in the Fibonacci sequence, but it is extremely fundamental to it, and we can discuss why. Yeah. 17 and 72 are the two numbers which are very important. They're related to Parashat Yisro.
Yeah.
Yitro.
Yeah.
Because Yitro is the 17th Parsha in the Chumash, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, it has 72 psukim. If I'm not mistaken, but I'll confirm that before we talk about it. So 17 means good. So so when you take the Satan out of Esav, you're left with good. Mm-hmm. That's amazing, and not just good, but Tov.
Yeah.
Tov, by the way, is the 33rd word in Torah, and it's the first time that the letter Tet is used in Torah.
Interesting.
We got to start initiating ourselves into the into the godly language, into sacred geometry. We got to talk about that too one day.
Yeah, there's a person who said the movie pie. He just said the movie pie.
Pi, pi is encoded. Pi as well as phi is encoded all over the Torah.
Yeah.
And straight. Oh, you know what? We got to do that in the next episode. You probably know. You know Professor Chaim Shor, right?
I heard the name. Oh yeah. Hello. Yeah, he posted. He had a whole thing on YouTube,
right.
mathematics and yeah.
Correct. He did this whole incredible thing about pi. It's absolutely astounding, and it's just the first verse.
Yeah.
Okay. Pi on many levels, just in the first verse.
Yeah.
But there's pi all over. There's pi all over the Torah too. Everywhere.
Math. Math unveils the truth. Torah is of divine origin.
Yeah, you got to put that. You got to add that as a link. People should see that.
Sure. Here. I'm just gonna put this in comments. I mean, I'll put it in our YouTube, but I'll put it in the comment section as well.
Definitely. But I just wanted to just review very, very quickly the things that we've learned so far about Esav. Okay. So we have this idea of the 7 measures of Tumah, of impurity, that were introduced into the newly rectified Genesis world. And that happened during the conversation with the Nachash, the serpent, and Eve. Okay? It was infused into the world from the Nachash. So we have to learn more about what these 7 measures of impurity are. Each one is different. Okay? And then we always have a counter energy. We have the 7 measures, actually more, of holiness. Well, we have to discuss what is holiness, what is a measure of holiness, and why is a measure of holiness represented by the number 26, which is the gematria of the tetragrammaton, Yud He Vav He.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so we got to ask those questions, we got to answer them. But earlier when we spoke about Esav, we spoke about Yakov bowing to him 7 times, right? So basically, if we recall the gematria of Yitzchak's name, it's their father. You have their father Yitzchak. Yitzchak is the gematria of his name. It's 208. We have Yud, which is 10. Tzadi, which is 90. That's 100. Then we have Het, which is 8. 108. And then we have Kuf, which is also 100. 208. So we know that 26 times 8 is 208. So Yitzhak contains within himself 8 measures of holiness, each one different. Okay? So now let's look at Yakov. This is just a review for people who may have not heard it the last time. So Yakov is 182. That's his name. So Yakov is spelled Yud, which is 10, Ayin, which is 70, so that's 80. And then you have Kuf, which is 100, 180, and then the letter Bet, which is 2, so that's 182. So most of the time, Yakov, when you look in the text of the Torah, is spelled that way, that we just mentioned. Sometimes it's spelled with a Vav, with an added Vav. That's rare. And that, and when you see that, that's indicative of something which we have to talk about another time. But most of the time, it's spelled the way that we just spelled it. It's 182. Okay? So 182. So 7 times 26 is 182. You got a calculator? You checking this math? I don't have one right now.
7 times 26? Yeah, 182.
182. Okay, so we have so Yitzhak is 208, and he has 8 measures of holiness, 8 measures of 26. Yakov was given 7 of them because Yakov is Moshe is 182, which is 26 times 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened to that last 26? Where did it go? Who got it? So Esav got it. So if you do the gematria of Esav, which we said earlier was 376. So how did he? So we know he has that 26 in there. But what about the remaining stuff?
Yeah.
You got 350 worth of remaining stuff. What is that? So we know that the gematria of the word tameh is 350.
So it's tumah. It's a bunch of tumah.
Right. So So he has impurity surrounding, encaging, if that's a word, I don't think it is.
Yeah. No. Caging in. Yeah.
Right. Caging in that precious 26, which is the highest of all of Yitzchak's measures of holiness. Yeah. And he had them all. Okay. We got to talk about these 8 measures of holiness and what that is, like another time. Okay. But all of these things are power. Okay. The power of the entire universe. Yeah. Okay. And so obviously the 7 measures of impurity, or the 350, which represents Tuma, okay, was keeping that special 26 that he got from Yitzhak prisoner. Okay, so we have Esav, who has these 2 amazing values, which describe his situation perfectly. The 350 plus 26, right? So that's Tuma, and the holiest of all the 26s. Okay, and then you have Esav, the name 3, the gematria of his name, minus Satan, which equals Tov, 17, which is that's. Do you understand what the statistical probability of that being anomalous, of that being random, is 0?
Yeah, of course.
Less than 0. Yeah. So and it's just everything, every word, every pasuk in the Torah is just nothing but that kind of stuff. So it's incredible. So I just wanted, so I got a chance to redeem myself a little bit there. I think.
So
time will tell.
We have about, I would say 10, not even 10 minutes. We have like 5 minutes. We should. So what's kind of the message here? That we should just like say, based on what Rabbi Weisberg said, that we should just be like, okay. I mean, we always say Moshiach should come now, right this nanosecond.
No, so what he's saying is that
we're just like,
the purpose is that for people who are still paying attention, right? Mm-hmm. We have to know how close we are, how actually close we are to the end, because remember, there's only a certain amount of time to work with, period, right? Yeah. So if you're guessing the dates before the total elapsed time, then you can screw up. But if you're already standing at the end of it, it's very difficult to screw up. Yeah. You can still do it. Okay? But at the same time, it's like, when people say, "Oh, don't talk about it because, if it doesn't happen, then people are going to, they're going to be disappointed." Yeah. To me, that's an insane statement. Yeah. To me, it's almost like those same people would say, "Yeah, don't tell people that Hashem is not real because they'll just be disappointed." It's not real to those people who say that. Yeah. It can't be. Yeah. Right? Because if it's real to you and you are really actually looking to it to be your, to be the salvation, to help you, because, and I don't mean salvation in some kind of crazy kind of missionary way. I'm saying, holy shit, the bouncer is going to come and break my knees. I need help. Yeah. The sword of Damocles is hanging over me, about to split me in twain. Right? Yeah. Nobody, and we're all in that situation. Like, how can you not sit there at the edge of your seat hoping, and the whole world needs that right now. Of course. Okay, so that's, it's a little different than it ever was in history at this point. So I think we can get a pass. Yeah. Okay, so we're at the end. Okay, so what he's doing, Rabbi Weisberg, is he's basically saying the end is really, the very, very, very end is very close. So we don't have to wait around and wait for that last moment that he comes, God forbid, because there's so much suffering and agony going on right now. Yeah. Right. So that's really what it is. It's to help people understand where you are holding on the calendar. Yeah. Okay. Like, if there's a ball game, there's a basketball game. The time runs out at some point. This is not an eternal project. Yeah, of course. Gemara says 6,000 years minus a few hundred years for the preparation for Olam Haba. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so if we're there now, and if it's not happening, then people are scared. Well, what does that mean? Gemara is not true? Maybe. I feel like my point is, I don't really believe that, but I'm just saying it's like sometimes It's time to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, of course. No,
people don't believe that God can pull it off.
I know. And I feel like, again, I look around and I look at the Orthodox people. Listen, man, I know you told me, like, you gotta, can't blame people, this and that and the other, but, like, it seems to me that they're not waiting for anything. They're just, let's just live our lives and whatever it is. Some of them don't even...
I get that.
Know if they believe in Moshiach, which is technically kfirah. That's a different discussion.
I get it.
And
I get it. What I was railing against just now was not any specific people. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people who don't have that mindset, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah.
It's really hard to blame somebody. It's really amazing that anybody still talks about the kind of, the flavor of soup that God likes.
We can talk about this next time, but there are people who say, I hope Moshiach doesn't come soon because I want to do this X, Y, and Z with my business and this, that, and the other.
Crazy. Those people...
It's got to be like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's a non-logical, it's like a non-statement.
It's such a self-centered...
Not only self-centered, it doesn't make sense because if he comes, you won't need to. Or he'll do that for you.
Right. People are... No, look. This is the thing. You know how, like...
It doesn't make sense.
You know how we were talking about, like, there's... I know you brought an example of a guy, but I'm talking about, let's say, how, like, girls from our generation, maybe a little younger, a little bit vapid, they see themselves as, the leading role in Sex and the City or whatever,
The lead smokestack of the
lead smokestack. Everybody else is an accessory in their life, right? It's their story. So it's not just women, it's guys too. Yep. People are like that.
Yep.
Where your particular story is not that important.
It's like
important.
It's like this is my life and everybody else is just in it, kind of thing.
Dude, look. Basically, I told you about the dog that gets his face chewed off, right?
Yeah.
If I can go into a reality where that doesn't exist, and that means that I'm not gonna achieve my career goals, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, same.
Fuck my career goals, and fuck your career goals.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Beautiful. Baruch Hashem. Fantastic. No more lies, no more cheating, no more stealing, no more
face chewing, no more horrible neglect, no more horror.
Fake people to deal with, no more, whatever. People not paying you for 4 months or 5 months.
Yeah.
If you're
it's going to be different,
people
and I can't wait.
Torah, not doing that.
Dude, by the way, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is almost walking down Fifth Avenue. Did you see that clip that I sent you? Did you see the clip?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm talking about is there's a recent interview with where is she? You gotta be kidding me! I got all these windows open. Son of a bitch. Whatever, the DNI, right? Like Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Remember during Trump?
Yeah, the director of national television. Yes, the guy who refused to
whoever is the director of national intelligence now, some lady, right?
Yeah.
Who's represent. She could be a nice lady, I don't know, but she works for a fake regime.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, but she's the first one.
Avril Haines, her name is.
Yes.
She's from, I think, no?
Oh God, please don't.
Oh no, I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of a different person.
Yeah. So no, but so she said that they were asking her during one of the interviews.
Yeah, she's Jewish. Sorry.
Okay, can you stop hurting me? You're hurting me. You wound me. Yeah. So she was saying that these tic-tac things that the Air Force pilots and the Navy fighter pilots and all these guys are seeing and detecting and all the data that by the sensors and all that kind of stuff. She actually said it could be extraterrestrial.
That's amazing. That
has never come out of the mouth of an acting official.
Yeah. Great.
Even if it's a fake administration, people believe it's real.
Sure.
And by the way, the last director of the DNI, right?
Yeah. But
Radcliffe,
we have like 30 seconds.
He said the same thing. He said the same thing, by the way, but only after he was out of office.
Yeah.
So you have the previous legitimate guy saying it, and now you got the fake, illegitimate lady saying it.
Yeah.
And that's almost the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man walking out Fifth Avenue.
So that's going to be the topic of the next episode, and we have to run. And next one is going to be 17, and we'll get into that.
17. You know, we should call this one Sweet 16.
We can call it or 16 Candles, or the Divine Comedy, because we talked about comedy for the first half.
We could do that too. And Billy Idol, by the way, he had a song Sweet 16, which is about a guy who is a legend down here in Florida. His name is Edward Leet Skalman. He's a Lithuanian dude that built Coral Castle.
Wow.
You gotta. We don't have enough time to discuss it, but the man's a legend.
Cool. So we'll talk about that as well. All right, sir. I gotta save this.
We also got to talk about the Academy of Shem and Aver.
Shem and Aver, yeah. We'll talk about that. It'll be great. Dr. Shem. All right, sir.
Signing off.
Signing off, and I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Later.